Welcome to Patscast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And this is our episode for March 13th, 2022.
Dubinsky over the blue line, right side, tries to cut his way to the net, and a big save by Thompson gets it back. Whitehead fires and scores! What a huge goal from Braxton Whitehead. Selame takes it away off the glass and out, and ahead, Cole Dubinsky's got a breakaway to the net. Dubinsky scores! Goals in back-to-back games for Cole Dubinsky. Now, back to the line, Parker Berg. Left side, Connor Bedard. Wrist shot, score! His 36th of the season is career point number 100.
Well, Chris, the Pats have played 53 games, 22 wins, 31 losses. That's good for 48 points and 9th in the Eastern Conference. 4-4-2 in their last 10. Sitting just 2 points behind PA for that 8th and final playoff spot with 15 games remaining. I honestly didn't know it would be at this spot. I kind of felt like that door had closed, and it feels pretty good after this weekend. Doing these shows week in, week out, it's been sometimes a little tough to get up and get energy for it. Hey, it's, we record them Sunday evening. Sometimes like, oh God, I'm getting kind of tired. And a few times this season, it's been a little bit tougher to get up for them. But after this weekend, it's fun to be back here and be able to talk about some wins. The boys did their job this week. They did what they needed to do, and they got those points against some very important teams that we're chasing. And it was a fun week. What was your overall impression of it?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, just kind of general thoughts. Both games I thought were pretty solidly played, and like I said, they got the 2 points. They got the 2 points in regulation.
Yeah.
Just kind of like what we not predicted, but what we were hoping for, right? We need 4 points in regulation, and that's happened. So you can't argue with that at all, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a solid weekend.
and they've been talking about it, and we've been talking about it, but these games over the last couple of weeks have been essentially playoff-ish games, right? You're playing for your playoff life. And I wasn't really feeling it up until this week, and then this week it really it felt more like playoff-style hockey, I think. And first of all, it's so nice to have basically a full roster back again. Everyone, I think pretty much everyone's back from injuries at this time. And some of those key players, like obviously your captain, Nyhoff, back, your gritty grinder with Stringer, your starting goaltender. So just those little pieces seem to, whatever it was, it made quite a difference this week. And we tried to almost lose it on Lethbridge. I was getting a little worried there. But that late goal by Whitehead was just so clutch. And yeah.
I mean, it was the play by Dubinsky on that play, right? Like he went to the net, he got the rebound, he was battling, and he finds Whitehead in the right spot, and he just finishes, right? Like it was just, I'm not saying it wasn't Whitehead, but it was such a great play, Dubinsky, and he had 2 solid games this weekend.
His last, I would even say more than just this last weekend, has really, really stepped up, and it's just, it's so rewarding finally to see it with him, because, I mean, I remember watching him as a 15-year-old, and you're thinking the energy he's playing with, and it was like every season, it's like, okay, maybe he's going to turn the corner. But I think he's up to, 16, 17, 18 goals by now. So, you get
15
to that,
or 16, something like that.
If you can get around that 20 goal mark, that's a solid season, right? And he's, I mean, trying to play for a roster spot next season too, right? Going into that 20-year-old. So he's making a good case for himself for next year by performing really well lately.
Yeah, definitely. And Ken touches on this in the one clip that we have in here. And it's not just his offensive play; it's his play away from the puck. He had at least one super good back check. I remember. It's the little stuff like that it's the whole package kind of thing, right? If you're not scoring, you got to be doing something else, right? Yeah. So, and he's buying in, right? but he's an older guy, and he's got to lead by example by doing that stuff, right? It kind of it leads into it was the Calgary game. Svoza like lost his stick in the defensive zone, and he probably shouldn't have went to get it, but Spencer sees that and he right to the net to cover the guy that was going to the net, right? Like he steps up and makes a play like that. Like it's a young guy like that, picking up cues from these older players and doing what's the right thing, the smart thing, right?
Absolutely. It was just a good effort all weekend, top to bottom. And we talked about last couple games and last couple weeks where some of those, the supporting cast got to maybe develop some of their confidence and their abilities without those top guys there, and being able to carry that on to now when those top guys are there, and just being able to bring that. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to find the silver lining in those last couple of weeks where things were looking a little dark, but they played really well. Those when you need to give your top guys the rest, you can put those guys out, and they've had some recent high level experience here.
Yeah, exactly. And then now with your top guys back, those guys don't have to play as many minutes, but when they're called upon, they're ready to go. They know what they have to do, right? You're not just putting them out there for a break for the other guys. You're putting them out there because they can do it, right?
Absolutely. So we got an interview here clipped with Herauf after this Lethbridge game, and we'll listen to him now.
Well, that's been the mission all week since we lost that last game last Saturday. We've been building for this moment. Didn't always go as we scripted, but that's the good thing about our team. We've shown some maturity in the way we went about our business through the 60 minutes. Didn't always go our way, but we kept on bouncing back. Yeah, I don't really think it flowed very much. I think there's some goals that both goalies would have wanted to head back. I think kind of killed momentum for both teams, and gave momentum to the other teams. I think it was kind of jinky-janky, and that's the way those guys kind of like to play those games and battle it out and grind it out. And for us, we like to skate a little bit more. And I just like the way that we were adapting our game throughout the game. It wasn't the prettiest thing, but we never sank. I didn't feel us sinking back or waiting to lose tonight. We kept on just trying to rise to the challenge and keep on pushing back. The worst thing about that is telling people they have to sit out, but for us it's huge. I can't tell you the energy we had at practice. We've got Logan Strings back in the lineup. Logan just came back from concussion. He's fighting. We're down 1-0. That's what is probably the last thing he should be doing, but he's just doing it for the boys, trying to be a leader. It's his last year. He knows what this means to him, and he wants to be a part of us to get us in the playoffs. You can't have enough Braxton Whiteheads on your team. He's a 200-foot player. He understands the clock. He understands the situation of the ice. So his puck plays and what he's doing with the puck are coming into that. Some guys are just out there, making moves, making plays. Where Braxton, he's such a thinker out there, and he's honestly like another coach. And at 17 years old, he's only going to get better for us and keep on playing those important minutes. I think the best part of Connor's game is just the way he was managing the puck. He wasn't trying to force it. He was being smart with it. In the third period there, we're up 4-3. He could have very well dropped that puck back, but he shot it. The goalie went off up in the stands. Like, to me right there, that is the play. The high guy was open, but 4-3, 3 minutes left. We're not putting that puck back there. We're putting the puck to the blue paint and getting numbers. And there's tons of little plays like that I noticed of him tonight, and that's just his maturity and growing.
Yeah, and I was watching this game. Lethbridge they're a tough team to play. I would not want to be facing them in the playoffs here, first round. They're gonna be one of those teams that's either gonna grind you down, maybe take you to like 5, 6, 7, or just it's gonna be a hard series whoever plays them.
Yeah, definitely, and we saw that the previous game, right, where they roughed up the Pats like we were talking about, and it was. Again, it was a tough game. Like, Bedard got one goal. The question, they asked him, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Nathan that asked him what he thought about Bedard's game. And, he's like, well, there wasn't a ton of scoring chances either way for either team. And he's like, but then he went on to that, the little details. Like, that's what he's impressed about was these other things, right? So, because, yeah, it's that team, they're just tough to play against, like the Red Deers, right?
Yeah.
They've got a little more offensive skill, but Like we've seen Red Deer some tough games against them, right? It's nice just to see them get the win, get through that stuff, battle through, and get the W in regulation, right? Like,
Yeah.
And Keeper, like you talked about Keeper coming back. I mean, it was his first game back in 6 weeks. You know, he gave up that goal, the power play goal late. It just goes off his glove. That was tough. I thought, oh no, I thought that wasn't. But other than that, I mean, I thought he played real well, especially in the third period. He made some big saves too. So nice to see him back, getting back into the groove.
Absolutely. You mentioned it. It was a funny game with the shots though. Regina with 22 total and Lethbridge with 24. Like that's one of the lower totals I think we've had in quite some time for either side. Like,
right. Yeah, the Pats were putting up 30 plus regularly.
Yeah, it was unusual. Anyway, so yeah, big win against Lethbridge, and then right into it the next day against Calgary. So Calgary coming off, I think they were playing a 4-5 or something crazy like that. So, just had to take advantage of that, and a team that's a little bit worn out, and I think the guys were able to do that, take advantage of them. Like the first half of the period was just like. Even the first period, I guess you could say the whole thing. Like, look, we're talking about shot totals from the last one. Look at this one: 5 in the first, 7 in the second, and 8 in the third for Calgary. Like, man, the Pats really played well in this game against them.
And I think it was the first period. Like they came out, and it was just like you text me, and you're like the cycle. It was just like the top line, the Bedard line was just controlling the play. Like they didn't have a ton of good scoring chances in that first period, but they were just controlling the play. And like the only, I think, bad shift for the Pats in that whole period was after they scored the goal. Calgary kind of responded and had a good shift in the Pats end, but other than that, like it was 98% Pats in that first period. I mean, they only got the one goal, and they couldn't score on the power play late. I thought, that was huge there. If they could get a power play goal there, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, that whole period was just controlling. I wouldn't say it was dominating because they didn't, get those high quality scoring chances. It was just they just controlled the play so well. And like you said, Calgary obviously coming off or the 4-5 that's tough on them, right? And but they pushed back a little bit more in the second and the third. Absolutely. But the Pats really started the game on a good note, right?
Well, and I think my TSN turning point, or like the main emphasis from this game for me, was the penalty kill, because we took was it in the third period? Yeah, we took the delay a game with Parker Berg, then into the Nyhoff penalty, and then while he's still in there, Leighton Feist takes that penalty, and it's just like on a team that was struggling with their penalty kill, for them to be able to kind of put up 2-1 and then the double, 2 guys.
Yeah,
in the
the
box,
5-on-3 was over a minute, right?
To be able to kill that, like that was it for me. That
huge.
That was the emphasis in this game, and where it could have been won or lost. Because if they gave up one in that first penalty with Parker Berg, and then if they give up another one, then man, it's a totally different game. So
definitely,
just kudos to them for figuring out, at least for this game, whatever it was that was hindering their PK so much. I think I heard a stat it was the worst in the league.
Yeah, it's last, right?
Is it still?
Is
even
it
after
still?
this
I'm not
weekend?
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, they gave up 2 against Lethbridge. Like the one off keeper's glove, that's tough. Like if that one doesn't go in, you're only giving up 1, which is not terrible, right?
Yeah. Anyways, I got a lot to say about it, but I was just talking to you before we were recording about Ken Schneider, and I said he takes all my talking points. So Ken's a great interview. He's really worth listening to. So he's the assistant coach with the Pats, of course, new this year, and he has got lots of good things to say about this game. So we'll throw it to him now.
I think what I really liked about tonight was how our entire team bought into our system and what we wanted to do in terms of our structure of our game. We finally started to learn how to kill penalties tonight. And we took a couple penalties where we shot pucks over the glass. But our players were trying to do the right thing, and it was meaningful. I think they only had like 12 shots after 2 periods, 5 and 7. And so, we're pretty stingy. If you're only giving up 5 shots in a period, you're really defending. You're really smothering them. You're taking any. And of course, in all fairness to them, they're playing 4th game in 5 nights, and we have to take advantage of that. Back in November, we went into Calgary for an 11 in the morning game after being in Red Deer the night before. Brad's and Landon are away to Ottawa with the juniors, and we're missing Howe. And we get stomped on 11-1 or whatever it turned out to be. And it was something I brought up tonight before the game. Just, don't forget, they had a couple injuries. They're playing a lot of hockey here. We need to take advantage of them, and let's be motivated.
Connor's performance tonight.
I said to Brad after the second period, I said, I can't tell you, I've never witnessed anything like it in my life. There were some moves that he made were just, I don't think NHL guys could make those plays, to be quite frank. And it was so fun to watch. We're really proud of Cole Dubinsky. Was outstanding tonight. And he's been a little frustrated lately with not being able to score. He got on the board again tonight, was on the board last night. But his game overall, he managed the puck so well. And so we were really pleased with that in Cole's game tonight. Almost every night you can count on Cole to work hard. He's one of the hardest workers every night. And so we got contributions even late in the game. I was watching Brooks fighting for a puck at the blue line, and he wasn't giving up till that puck inched its way out over the blue line. That's what playoff hockey looks like, and I think we're starting to see some of that in our game. Absolutely, you can't underestimate the significance of having your captain in the lineup. He's one of the best leaders in the league without question, and Zach Stringer just brings a whole different element to the game. He's gritty. He's not pretty to watch. He's not the greatest, he's not the greatest to look at in terms of how he skates, but he goes to the right places. He blocks shots. He'll do anything. And when you have that kind of leadership from your older guys, it really rubs off.
I like what he said about Stringer. We were sitting there watching him. That poor guy just gets absolutely mauled all game. He is just getting hammered in front of the net. Doesn't even have to be in front of the net. He just seems to attract whatever. Yeah,
it seems like he's picking himself up off the ice every shift. I don't know what it is. He's in front of the net, or he's battling in the corner, battling on the boards. It's just and he's blocking shots. Oh my God, this guy's gonna get hurt again. It's just not that I think he's injury prone or whatever. It's just he's been out for so long and he's back and he's not easing into it, right? He's right in the middle of everything, and you got to give the guy credit, man. He's a warrior out there.
He gets, and we've seen him and interviewed him. He's not a huge guy. He's tallish, but he's not
no, he's not thick. He's, I don't know what they list him a weight as, but yeah, he's not, not a small guy, but not a big guy either, right?
Not thick, someone who could take that beating over and over.
Yeah.
Watching him last night he was getting just mauled.
Yeah, and then he talked about Bedard there. It was night and day. He seems to really like playing Calgary. I don't know what it is. He can just, he's got the room out there. It seems he's not getting bottled up like Lethbridge did. He was flying out there against Calgary, and we're seeing that almost every night now. It's not a surprise, and both his goals, just
that. And a highlight that won't make it was just there was some offensive time in their zone where and I don't know if this is what Ken Schneider was referring to, but some of the moves he was making with this possession was just unbelievable, and it didn't end up in a goal, so it probably will just get lost. But man. It was
right. We were saying that we have to clip that one.
We should,
and put it out.
Yeah,
and
it was phenomenal. So if we can get to that, that'd be really it's worth seeing because it was something else. And but yeah, he just has I say it every week. It's just every time he's on the ice, There's just, and you can even hear it now. You can hear the crowd when he's on the ice, just like the energy goes up. And when he has the puck, it just is like this, like the sound. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and there was actually a pretty decent crowd there on Friday, not so great on Friday, but yeah, it was. You could just hear there's a murmur in the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been that almost all year, right? The crowds have been unfortunately not great, and there wasn't just that vibe, right? And he picks up the puck, and everybody's just ooh, you just hear it rise, right? And it's finally nice to see that, and you know. I had a question for him, and I totally forgot it in the interviews when we talked to him, and yeah, it was a bummer. But because I was going to ask him about, he didn't have any expectations coming into last season because he said he hadn't played in the league, so he's not going to set any goals and stuff. And so I was going to ask him, like what kind of goals did you set this year, or if you did, and are you meeting them? Because I talked to him a couple of weeks ago there, and he's like, and I asked him like, what's changed since December, and he's like, I don't know, so I was just kind of gonna go with that, and then we got talking about other things and forgot about it. And
he's a smart kid. He's not gonna, even if he did.
No, I know,
he
right?
Probably did. He's not gonna say it.
No,
he's I don't want to say he's smart in his interviews. He doesn't give people like poster
talking points,
and like for the other team to like put on the poster board or whatever. And
he's
super. He wouldn't, even if he did. And actually we have an interview with him here, so this is actually Bedard and Nathan Selame came out together,
and this is actually pretty good. I mean, I don't think they were going. Nathan said, well, okay, we're going to get Bedard, and then all of a sudden Selame walks in too, and so they had this plan. So, I mean, it's a good kind of side to see of them, because you don't see this much, but so it's pretty funny.
Pretty funny. And what's even funnier is the video version, because they're wearing each other's shirts, for one. And like they're just shit-eating grins. Like they're having fun, which is awesome, and they should, right? They're just kids, so.
I know, and I think it's Selame. Like I think he's brought that to this team, because he was on Friday night. He was at the interviews with Stringer and Whitehead, and we didn't interview him, but he was there. Like, and then at the end of the Whitehead interview, he like Stringer throws his hat at him, and they were all laughing. And it was just a fun thing, right? You win the game, you have some fun, right?
Yeah.
You haven't, obviously we're back in person, so you can see that now. But I mean, we're doing over Zoom, and after these losses, you could see they were dejected just over the screen, right? And it's finally nice to see them just having fun, laughing, smiling, and it's nice.
I mean, I guess I was being a little self-focused there when I said it was hard to do these shows. Imagine playing every game, like after some of theirs losing and coming to practice, and it's like, oh my god, like, yeah.
I know I didn't put any Dubinsky comments in. I kind of forgot about that interview, but Rob Vanstone was like, oh, it's finally nice to talk to you after a win, and because we'd gotten Dubinsky a few times after some of those tough losses, and man, you see it was like wearing on him. It seemed like he was just so dejected after some of these games, and so it's just, I mean, you win, you're having fun, right? It just goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that interview of Dubinsky is on the Pats website, and it is worth looking at too, because you can just see. You can see a bit of energy and some excitement again in the team, and it's awesome. So, without any further ado, here's that Bedard and Selame interview.
To look back and think that it's been a year already is pretty crazy. Obviously, I think Nathan can talk about that, just how fast it goes, and it was definitely pretty cool to kind of wake up and see that it was a year ago. So to get a win on the same day was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely good. I mean, that's the most important thing. Obviously, you're not really worried about that milestone. You're worried about those 2 points. So it was definitely a good night. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've been doing anything new. It's just kind of sticking with it. Obviously, from the start of the year, being a little slower, and the points have seeming to be coming a little more lately. So it's been good to see the puck go in the back of the net for sure, and to get a few wins lately.
Yeah, it is nice to produce. Whatever it takes to get the team to win, I'm happy with. The 2 points are the biggest thing. The team 2 points. So.
Yeah, so I think, we knew we kind of needed to get something going, and, we weren't winning, try something new, and, we thought, I remember when I was younger, I was doing that with someone, kind of the passing thing, and we thought it was good, but it wasn't enough, so, Sal kind of added something else, and it's been pretty fun every warm-up to, you get excited for it.
Yeah, you said everything right. Just try to figure out something new going, and we missed a couple shakes on some goals because he blows me off sometimes, but it is what it is.
If you want to check out the full one, it's pretty good. It's on the Pats website, and it looks like they're having some fun, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, and I think they actually tweeted out like the video of the warm up. Like they were doing the passing thing, now they're doing the water thing. Like they're giving each other the water bottle and stuff, and doing the handshake. Seen that after goals a couple times here. So it's nice to see them win. Nice to see them having some fun. So it's all good.
Absolutely. So I did tweet out today. Anything else from that game? Or are you good?
Just the mile. I don't know if you want to talk about Bedard's milestone there. Like he's talking about 100 points in his career in 62 games. So that's almost a full season, right?
Yeah.
And he's putting up 100 points. So that's
you can think about it that way.
Pretty impressive as a 15, 16-year-old.
It is absolutely. It feels funny like that. It was a year ago since he started, right? It seems like I didn't realize we started that late. Like I know we did.
Yeah, neither did I.
March. I'm like, we're almost done now, and we were just starting. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. But 49 goals, 52 assists in 62 games. So that's impressive.
It really is. So speaking of him, I put out a tweet like, who is the top performer this week? I put Dubinsky and Whitehead. I thought maybe someone, and then of course Bedard won that poll.
I voted Whitehead.
So did I. Voted Whitehead, but I mean, you made a good case for Dubinsky too, right? Who's been playing awesome. Whitehead, he's just been a guy. We started to see it, like you just started to see little glimmers, and I think he started down like the fourth line, and then like kind of he's just been working his way up, and
like he's taken some big draws, with Nyhoff out. He's taken some big draws. He's on the penalty kill. He's almost a younger Nyhoff kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? He's just working his tail off, doing the little things right. And in a couple of years here, the scoring's going to come. Like Nyhoff kind of broke out last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something like that. I mean, the games aren't the same, but or they aren't the exact same. They're similar though. And that's kind of what I see in his game.
Yeah, I hadn't made that connection, but I agree with it now that you said that. Yeah. I mean, some notable mentions too, like Sim. He made the stops he needed to in that Calgary game. Like, give him that. Like, it's good for him, right? Like he one goal and we took care of the rest. So good for him.
Yeah, no, definitely kind of glossed over that. I didn't. Once you think about it, he had a solid night. I mean, there was a couple rebounds that he gave up, but he made some big saves, and he obviously gave the team a chance to win, and they did. And you have two goalies kind of going. I mean, I figured Sim was going to play on Saturday because I didn't think keeper was going to get back-to-back coming back out of injury, but so that's not surprising. And Sim's gotten better. Like he had some struggles there, but I think if you get two guys going and you don't have to play back-to-backs, you can put both guys out in a situation like that. That's only the best for the team.
Right. So, speaking of back-to-back, looking at this week coming up, some big games here again. Medicine Hat on Tuesday. So Medicine Hat not in the playoff hunt, but that's a team you need to beat and you need to get some points, and then it's right into Lethbridge on Wednesdays. So it's nice to have two goaltenders you can rely on. It's nice to have a healthy lineup, some guys you can cycle through, because those are going to be big games. And frankly, those are must wins too here. Like it's getting down to the wire here.
Yeah. So speaking of Medicine Hat, they are last in penalty kill now. The Pats have passed them.
Okay.
Just by a little bit of a percentage point.
Yeah.
But the Pats are second last. So that's something obviously they're working on. So but Medicine Hat, you gotta have 2 points there.
Yeah.
And obviously Lethbridge, same situation. You gotta beat them in regulation. I mean, you got your full team now. It's going to be tougher on the back-to-back on the road, but you need 4 regulation points here.
You really do, and I think they can. I think they can do it.
Yeah, it's a lot more feasible now.
Yeah, with the full lineup, and it's so close with Lethbridge. Like, man, like we've been 1-goal games and final second goals, and it's just like it's there. So it's. I think we can pull it off. If this last weekend gave me some hope.
Yeah, and you got to give Lethbridge some credit. Like they went into Moose Jaw on Saturday night and beat Moose Jaw on the last game of the road trip. Like that's impressive. Like you could, I figured Moose Jaw was going to beat them, and Regina would have been 2 points behind them instead of 4 now.
Yeah.
But and same with PA, they beat Saskatoon 1-0 on Saturday. So a team right ahead of us winning as well on Saturday, so we didn't gain any points on them.
Didn't get help when
no, unfortunately. On 2 games, you kind of thought you would get help. I figured Moose Jaw would beat Lethbridge, and Saskatoon, PA, obviously that's a rivalry. So, but you're hoping for Saskatoon.
Yeah, but to shut out Saskatoon, like
I know, and just a 1-0 game, right?
Yeah,
like you don't see 1-0 games too often anymore, especially at the junior level, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, let's wrap this one up. Good weekend, fun hockey, fun to watch. And really, we're kind of getting into this kind of playoff feel. I think going into this season, playoffs were the goal. And I kind of feel this is kind of our playoffs now, is playing.
They're right there, yeah.
Playing meaningful games into March. And yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's like we said, we've been doing this podcast a long time. We haven't actually got to talk about a playoff series. So yeah, it'd be nice to have one this year.
Yeah, we literally started after they exited the playoffs in the Memorial Cup year.
Yeah, we did the Memorial Cup tournament, and then it's just been rebuilt ever since. So
yeah, it's been a tough go, but
yeah, it has been. But anyways, this seems fun now. We got some pretty meaningful games coming up. So, we didn't mention though the Saturday game against Moose Jaw. We were just talking about these two, but yeah, they play Saturday against Moose Jaw. So,
right, that's gonna be a tough one, obviously.
That'll be tough.
I mean, if we can get 4 points out of this weekend, if we get those first 2 games, obviously Moose Jaw is gonna be tough. Anything out of that game, I think, is good, positive. But beating those other 2 teams, you have to have Medicine Hat, and Lethbridge is massive.
Absolutely. So they're all on the road, so we won't see you guys at the rink, but let's go get it, boys. Let's get some W's. All right. Good night.
Have a good night.